Friends, I told you, when you do these type of things, you need to have your mind focused. You can't be distracted. Oh, what's that noise? Friends, I told you, there's some weird things going on. All right, look, friends, we're going to give this guy a call. We're going to talk to his secretaries. I highly, friends, I know these people. I used to work in the government. Let's see if this is going to work. So, friends, prepare to copy. 813-635-8316. And, friends, when you do these things, it's helpful to have a notepad so you can take some notes. And, friends, we're going to write a little note so we don't forget anything. Because, friends, being a civil rights activist is new for me, friends. I literally just got that title yesterday with my first case. Case number 001. Civil rights activist. Let me write down my client's name. Edgerton. Okay, cool. All right, let's give these folks a call. Friends, we're just asking. Friends, listen. I was at the event. I'm a veteran. I had my family there, and I witnessed something very, 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 very horrible. Let's see what this lady's got to say. I'm sure a lady. Oh, hold on. Hold on.
HILLSBOROUGH County, Florida. Proudly serving those who served.
Oh, give me a break. Hold on, everybody.
Claims or Veterans Memorial Park and Museum. Please press 1. For consumer protection services, press 2.
That's who we need.
For citizen board.
All right, friends, I'm sorry.
Thank you for calling Consumer Protection Services. If you know your party's extension, you may dial it at any time. To use the employee directory, press pound. For hours and locations, press 1.
Of course.
For the website and complaints filing information, press 2. Para información en español, oprima 3.
No habla español, mi amigo.
Or to leave a message, press 0.
Oh, give me a break, these people.
Consumer Protection's main office is located at 410 30th Street Southeast, Suite 104 in Ruskin. Open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. In the Brandon Regional Service Center at 311 Falls Drive, we're open Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4:30. And at Veterans Memorial Park, 3602 US 301 North in Tampa, we're open Tuesday through Thursday.
Oh my gosh, friends! It's just a computer going to talk to you. You're not going to talk to anybody.
Thank you for calling Consumer Protection Services. If you know your party's extension, you may dial it at any time.
It's not on the website.
Use the employee directory. Press
right.
pound. For hours and location, spell the last and first name, then press pound. For Q, press 7. For Z. There are 4 matching names.
Oh, come on.
Select the name by number. For new search, press star. For Robert Permort, at extension 41536, press 1. For Frank Strom,
There we go.
at extension 36169, press 2.
36196, press 2. Here we go, friends. Let's see if he answers.
Transfer your call.
He must be in a meeting with the lawyers. Hello?
Yes, sir. Hello?
Hey, is this Mr. Frank Strom?
You got him.
Hey, sir, my name is Sergeant Grizzlegrits. I'm the Command Sergeant Major of the Grizzly Army. I was at your event the other day, and I just have a couple questions. Are you free to talk now, sir? Or?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, look, sir, I'm doing a civil rights investigation, and I was literally standing... were you aware of what happened the other day, sir, at your event? You were the keynote speaker, right? Or you were the guy that did the closing remarks, correct?
I did the closing remarks. Okay, I'm sorry. Can you tell me your name again?
It's Sergeant Grizzlegrits. I'm with the Grizzly Army. I was in your office. I was down in the Veterans Park yesterday. I spoke to Mr. Patrick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Patrick. Now, what is his role there? He works there, correct?
Patrick is our BSO manager.
Okay, well, he wouldn't... Oh, the manager. Well, he wouldn't identify himself yesterday, and he was... I don't know. Did your employees get any kind of customer service training?
Of course they do.
5 or 10 armed security guards remove a veteran, sir. I know you were aware of that. You were on the stage. I saw you watch it. So I'm just trying to get some understanding of what happened, because I was out there with my family, and my children watched this, and my wife. And believe it or not, my wife's a Gold Star family member, and her brother is actually over there on the memorial. So I'm just trying to get some understanding from you, because I know you witnessed this, and I'm doing an investigation now for a civil rights violation. Do you have anything to say, sir, or can I have some understanding? I'm also a veteran. I'm just really concerned that we don't feel like we're welcome in the parks anymore.
Well, that's unfortunate, and that's certainly not the truth, though.
What's the truth, sir? I need to understand what the truth is, please. Hello?
I think we should approach this a different way. Why don't you ask a specific question, and I'll answer your question.
Okay, why was Mr. H.K. Harrington removed from the event?
He was not removed from the event. He was asked to lower his flag. And for the record, let's just be clear. It's not an issue of the flag or the uniform.
Oh, okay.
It was an issue of we don't allow flags or banners or parades or any such in our event. And the flag was distracting the audience. The 3x5 flag.
Here's a question for you. Where was the flag located in regards to the ceremony?
The flag was located within his possession.
No, the question I'm asking you, the specific one, is where was Mr. Edgerton in his flag in relation to the event? Was he in the front? Was he being distracted? Or was he maybe in the back of the event where he wouldn't bother nobody?
No, he was in the middle of the audience.
Well, sir, I don't think your facts are correct, because I was literally standing about 15 feet away from this individual, and I didn't know who this man was. And I'm doing a civil rights investigation, and we're going to get some answers out of y'all. Because I was down there yesterday, and Mr. Patrick didn't even have his ID on him. He was very dismissive, and he accused me of being a liar. Now, sir, do you do proper interviews for your employees? Do you interview anybody? Do you look in backgrounds? When did Mr. Patrick start there, sir?
Yeah, I think I'm going to refer you to my county attorney's office.
All right, what's that number, sir? We need that.
It's on the website.
Who's in the back with me, sir? Who's in the back with me, sir?
One question at a time. Can we start with that?
So, sir, you're accusing me of my eyewitness testimony, along with my wife and my children, are inaccurate, and yours is the accurate one, correct?
No, sir. You asked me where Mr. Edgerton was located. That's
right.
The thing, Mr. Edgerton.
I was standing 20 feet from him in the back.
Yeah. He was in the middle of the audience in a seat. Plenty of video to show that.
Okay. Where can I get that video, sir? And your privacy offices? Where can I get some? I'm gonna do some FOIA requests out there too, sir.
You can do that. Hillsborough County was Facebook and live streaming Facebook.
So if I go on the live stream, I'm gonna see Mr. Edgerton in the middle of the event. Is what you're saying to me, correct?
Yeah. Correct.
And that's a problem for y'all.
Let me ask you a question.
Please go ahead, sir.
Sir, I'm gonna be honest with you right now. I'm not going to get into a confrontation with you.
Well, this isn't a confrontation, sir. You're being confrontational. I'm a veteran, and I'm concerned, and I'm just trying to get some answers from the director.
Okay.
And you're not providing them, and you're twisting the facts, and I was there, sir.
Let me ask
so you're
you
accusing me of being a liar, like your employee, Mr. Patrick, yesterday. He called me a liar.
Those words did not come out of my mouth, sir.
Well, it came out of your employee's mouth.
If you were at the event, okay, first off, he's not my boy, okay? He's an employee, and he's a retired gun instructor.
I don't care who he is. He's not a veteran. Veterans don't behave that way, sir.
Sir,
you should be ashamed of yourself, because you were on that stage and you watched it all.
I absolutely did. And
I'm
trying to articulate to you what happened.
I'm trying to understand, sir. I was there. I literally was there. I watched it. I went and talked to the man after y'all kicked him out of there.
So if you were 20 feet from the man, where do you believe he was sitting?
Sir, I'm going to do you a favor. Go to my website, because I was out there yesterday, and I did a documentary, and I reenacted everything that I witnessed. So you go ahead, go to my website, grizzlyarmy.com, and then you can call me back on my number here, and you can explain to me why, from your point of view, you had a misunderstanding of what was going on.
So there's no misunderstanding. I'm asking you a question. From your point of view, where do you believe he was sitting?
He was standing on the sidewalk about 10 feet from where Mr. Patrick put him on the golf cart and got him out of there. He was standing right there in the grass.
That was after the event.
Hold on, sir. You don't interrupt me. I'm a sergeant major of the Grizzly Army, sir. You're going to have a little respect. Sir, when they were singing the Army song, Mr. Edgerton was over there singing it with his flag in the back with me. And that was not during the end of the event. That was when we were all singing the songs in the beginning, sir. So, sir, you're going to tell me that I'm mistaken and that your facts are correct? And that when I go find a video, I'm going to find Mr. Edgington in the front of the event being disruptive. And the actions of you and your employees are justified. Is that what I'm understanding?
I'm not going to.
Of course you're not. Of course you're not. Okay. So again, is there an SOP I can find? Is county employees, are they required to identify themselves, or are they just going to tell constituents, I don't have to identify myself?
Of course, county employees should identify themselves.
Okay, so when should or they have to? You're the director, right? Aren't you supposed to know these things? Again, sir, I'll ask you one last question, then I'll let you get back to whatever you're doing. Sir, who does the county work for?
Who does the county work for?
I asked your employee yesterday who he works for. He told me the county. Then I asked him, who does the county work for? And he didn't know. So I'm asking you, do you know who you work for?
That sounds like a rhetorical question.
Well, I'll just let you know, you work for me, sir. You work for the constituents here. And shame on you. You claim to be a veteran, and I was there, and that was an abomination. Sir, where's your office at? I'd love to have a little meeting with you. Can I arrange maybe we can do an in-person?
Actually, you were in my office yesterday. I offered to meet with you and chose not to.
So you're down there at the Veterans Park. That's where your office is?
I was right here when you were in the office, and I asked Patrick to have you come in, and you chose not to.
Sir, I asked for you specifically yesterday, and Patrick came out. And Patrick told me he wasn't going to identify himself. And then Patrick told me he ain't going to answer any of my questions. And then I asked him where his ID was, and he told me he had it, but he wouldn't show it or provide it. And then I signed in because I wanted to understand why the Tampa VA was not out there. Do you have an answer for that, sir? How come the Tampa VA? I'm looking at your program here. You thanked him on the back, sir. There's a nice, we want to thank all our supporters. Special thanks to all these folks, and the Tampa VA's on here. Why is the Tampa VA on here, sir?
Because they have a partnership and they share space with them.
Well, how come they didn't share that space on Veterans Day? Because I needed to talk to them. How come they weren't out there, sir? You're the director. How come? Why are they on the flyer if they're not even going to show up?
The director was sitting on the stage with me.
Now, if I'm a veteran that needs suicide prevention, I'm going to go up to the director and ask him to talk to me about something. How come there wasn't a table out there, sir? Where was the VA Tampa bus? How come the bus wasn't out there?
The VA was invited to provide outreach.
Oh yeah, but they just didn't want to come. You just want to kick veterans out that y'all don't agree with. You don't like looking at a uniform. Do you understand the Confederate uniform is acknowledged by Congress that veterans in Confederacy are buried in Arlington? Do you know that, sir?
I absolutely do.
Then why in the world was Mr. Edgerton removed out of that event?
Because the flag was disrupting the event.
But that's not what they told me yesterday. They said something about the lady he was with. But you're going to tell me it's about a flag. Okay.
Something about the what? I'm sorry.
Well, your security guy told me about the lady. He wouldn't stop talking about the lady.
I don't know. I'm not aware of it.
I know. So, sir, before I let you go, can I hear about that 7-day cruise that you went on for the Marine Corps? I mean, I'm at the event, and I'm not learning about anything uplifting. I'm hearing about General working for Halliburton and the first black general, and then I'm hearing about you going on a cruise. What do you have to say about that, sir?
What does my private, personal time have to do anything with this conversation?
Well, that's what I'm asking you. It's a Veterans Day event, and you're the guy, and you're talking about cruises when it should be Veterans Day, and you're kicking veterans out of there. And then I go down there yesterday to get some answers, and I get treated the same way as the other guy. So I need some answers out of you, sir.
Let me share this with you, sir. I'm trying to be courteous, but I've been in Pacific County for almost 2 decades.
Well, sir, I think your tenure is about to be over. I can help you with a resume. I used to do that with veterans.
Have a good day, sir.
Are you going to hang up on me now? Friends, the guy says, what does my personal life have to do with this conversation? And I said, well, buddy, I don't know. You were telling us all about it at the event. Friends, here you go. Give the guy a call. I demand y'all call this man. Friends, he's lying. And he was calling me a liar because I was standing right damn there. My wife was standing right over there and watched the whole thing. And friends, they're trying to say this guy was up in the middle of the event, friends, and he wasn't, friends. He wasn't. Friends, I told you these people are weak. Mr. Strom was there yesterday. Mr. Strom knew I was out there. That guy did not have any testicle fortitude to come out there and confront me or even address me, friends. Friends, did you hear him laughing on the phone? Did you hear him being dismissive and condescending towards me? Friends, if they're going to do it to me, they're going to do it to you, is what I'm trying to explain to you. Again, they're going to hide behind, oh, I've been doing this evil for 2 decades. How dare you call up here? How dare you? How dare you? Friends, I told you. We're going down there today, friends. I just can't stand this evil. Friends, what do we do here? We just let these people get away with all this evil? I mean, friends, you want to know why the VA's horrible? The guy was making excuses for Tampa. He's like, well, they were there. The director was on the stage. We were high-fiving about the cruise because he was probably there with me. Friends, again, I'm telling you, this thing was not for the veterans. This was all for the perverted leaders, so they could just do this all day. Look at us, look at us, look at our cruise. We love our cruise. Friends, the man was talking about a cruise that he went on. He wasn't talking about helping veterans not commit suicide or get the homeless folks off the streets. No, friends. I guess that's our job. That's our job, friends. Friends, I hate to say it, but the more we go down this journey, it's like the more our story has to do with the Civil War, friends, because you got the government that's all corrupt, that's got all the money and all the power, they got all these evil people in there, and they just don't care. And then you got folks like us running around with our shoes. We don't even got shoes. We're going hungry like General Lee's soldiers. We're just supposed to be good citizens and let these people just keep trampling on us. Just trample. Friends, there you go. You heard it. You heard it on the live, friends. These people don't give a damn about any of us. Oh my gosh, friends, I tell you, I'm just so damn fed up with these people. Friends, they were mocking me is what I'm telling you. He was there yesterday. They were all watching me on the cameras, friends. Of course they have cameras. They got armed guards because they're scared. They hide in that office all day, friends, and they don't do no work. I'll tell you what, Mr. Strom, you just stepped on your own landmine, buddy. We're going to be doing a lot of investigations into that place. And we're gonna do some audits. I want to see some audits. We're going to do some audits of that place. I want to know how many veterans y'all are helping. I want to know your budget. And I want to find out where the fraud, waste, and abuse is. That's what we're going to do. Listen, everybody, what just happened there was my work environment. Listen up, mom and family. If you ever get this is why I was out there. This is why I was out there doing my protest last year. Because I had the same type of incompetent people hiding behind their positions of authority, not getting anything done, just patting themselves on the back and promoting whatever the hell they want to. And then they're going to lie to me and tell me, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. The man was disruptive. We told him to lower the flag. Friends, they did not tell that guy to lower the flag. They told him to get out of there. So, friends, let me understand this. If my daughter said, Daddy, we're going to go to the Veterans Day event, can we bring Uncle David's flag? The one that was on his casket. The one that's right, friends, Uncle David's flag's right over yonder, friends. Look at this. Y'all don't know that. Friends, that flag right there in my office was on my brother-in-law's casket when he got back from the war, friends. That's what the family was greeted with. And Mr. Strom, we're going to be out there later on today. We're going to go out there and pay a little visit to Uncle David. Friends, I told you I get no pleasure in this. This frustrates me more than anything. It frustrates me when people who were in the military, who claim to be veterans, who are in these type of positions, behave in this manner. You're just going to laugh at me. You're just going to mock me. And then you're going to hang up on me and shut the door just like you did yesterday. Jesus, please, Lord. Give me comfort, Jesus. Give me the encouragement, Lord. Give me the endurance, Jesus. That we will not stand for this evil. We will not stand for this wickedness. We will not stand for this, friends. We just won't stand for it. We're going to do it very, very, very peacefully, friends. We're not violent. Because we have a clear conscience. So, Mr. Frank Strom, allow there to be a hot bowl of flaming coals on your head of shame, sir, for your horrible, horrible display and lack of leadership. All right, friends, I gotta go. I'm worked up, friends. I'm highly worked up. Friends, I told you, every single person that I've had to interact with this horrible Hillsborough County has been just like that guy, friends. And just like the guy yesterday. And just like the sheriff's deputies. Just like the judges. And just like the lawyers. And all these other wicked people, friends. I just can't stand this damn county. I told you, friends, they all had a meeting yesterday. And they all agreed that, well, the man had a flag. And we asked him very, very, very politely to lower the flag. And he wouldn't do it. So we had to have 10 guys with guns and another couple, 5 or 6 people surround the man and tell him that he had to vacate the property or he was going to be arrested and trespassed. Okay. Okay, 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 all right, okay, Corporal Stevens, all right, okay. Friends, I told you I get no pleasure in these things. I get no pleasure in this, friends, but I have a job to do. And friends, if I didn't do my job, what kind of command sergeant major would I be? Hold on, friends, hold on, I'll just have to show you. Friends, this is my naughty Joe list, friends. I have a naughty Joe list, friends, and you should have one too, friends. That way you can track your soldiers when they're doing good and they're doing bad, friends. Because when you got to do your counselings at the end of the month, friends, it helps you remember these things. Mr. Patrick, you're definitely on this list because you were the one that I physically saw you do this. And how dare you, Mr. Strom, tell me that my eyes are lying? Patrick. You're on the naughty list. You're on the no-go list. This is the no-go list, friends. Mr. Frank Strom, you're on the no-go list, sir. There you go, friends. It's official. It's in my book. It's on the PGK book, friends. If it's in here, it might as well be written written in stone, friends. I was about to say something else, but we're not allowed to be blasphemous. Friends, I have to do a lot of praying here. Friends, I got to do a lot of stinking praying. Friends, let me tell you why I got to do some praying. Friends, Jesus is telling me I got to get back out there and do some peaceful protest. But friends, this county likes to murder veterans, friends, and they did. Staff Sergeant Morton, they murdered the man, friends. They just murdered him. They didn't ask him why he had a rifle. They didn't even want to know. They just wanted him dead, and he was, friends. They shot like 100 rounds in the man. And friends, you go back and listen to the body cam. They had a 3-round burst, friends. These people all have fully automatic rifles, friends. We're not supposed to be okay with our law enforcement having weapons of war. I mean, these are real weapons of war. Mr. Strom, you know, the workplace is real. I don't know, friends. You know, we're gonna let the Lord handle the justice. But all I know is that the work situation in our country ain't looking good. AI is taking a lot of jobs. And friends, I'm certain a veteran would love to deal with a computer, an AI computer, than one of these knuckleheads. I don't know, Mr. Strawn, I told you, I'm a generous sergeant major. I might be able to help you out with your resume. I don't know, sir. Maybe we can get you... Let me think, friends. I don't know. Who in the hell would hire a dishonorable ex-first sergeant that hates veterans, that wants to lie on the live? The guy had no idea he was on the live. My friends, he can't talk to the lawyer now and say, well, I never said that. I didn't tell the guy this. So, friends, now their stories are all getting discombobulated, just like the Bay Pines VA, friends. That's how the Lord's mysterious, friends. Friends, again, you don't lie. You don't ever dare lie, friends, because the Lord's always going to have that damn justice on you, friends. Friends, my wife lied on me in court, and it didn't work out good for her. Miss Benson lied, the legal lady. She lied on me, Mr. Strong. I know you know who that lady is. Friends, how dare these people? I come down there with a concern, and they ignore me, they laugh at me, and then the director guy sends the muscle out there to try to get rid of me, just like he got rid of Mr. HK. Friends, I gotta do some praying. Friends, I know y'all are good grizzly soldiers, and I know y'all want to do the right thing, friends. So if I put a call to action to go out there and start doing some peaceful protests, we're going to raise all our flags out there, friends, right on that county road. Friends, I got to do some praying. Friends, I don't want to set none of y'all up for failure. Because I told you, these people are wicked and they lie. And a sheriff will come out there and murder one of us, and then they'll say, oh, he was a threat. He was a January 6er. He was an insurrectionist. Look at him. Look how he's dressed. Breaks my heart, friends. Truly, our country's gone. It ain't the land of the free, home of the brave any longer, friends. I'm sorry. That time's come and gone. It's the land of me, and how dare you? How dare you question me? I've been here 10 years. I'm a first sergeant. I don't care if I went on a cruise and I want to tell all the generals and all the directors. Again, friends, how come the director of the VA was there? To get a little pat on the back. And how come his outreach folks weren't there? Mr. Dunning. Oh, Mr. Dunning. I got to call you next, sir. Oh, Jesus. Friends, I'm never going to get out to the cemetery. Friends, I got to go out there and clean. Friends, I put a trash can out there, and I redid the sign. And friends, believe it or not, that cemetery looks better than the day that I left it, friends. So I got to go out there and get the trash, friends. I donated one of my lawn trash cans. I put it out there, and it's already full, friends. Because people put their garbage out there. People have been going out there and cleaning it up, friends. I told you, Mr. Strom, you're not a leader. I'm a leader that empowers. You're a perverted leader. You're going to be gone soon. You're going to be gone real soon, sir. You don't talk to veterans on the phone like that. I don't care if I'm hiding behind my identity. I'm hiding behind a character. You're just going to laugh at me. You don't know who I am. Oh, friend. All right, friends, it's noon. It's almost noon, friends. I got to go in my bedroom in private. Because, friends, you're supposed to pray in private. You're not supposed to let everybody know these things. But I got to go talk to Jesus. I got to figure out what the next course of action is with these. Friends, I'm not going to call these people soldiers. I'm not going to call them veterans, friends, because veterans don't behave in this manner. These are people that are occupying good, righteous jobs that need to go to someone that cares. Like one of y'all. I already got a job, friends. Friends, if I go back down there today, they're gonna trespass me. They're gonna say I'm being harassing. They're just gonna lie like they did on Mr. Edgerton. They said that he was being disruptive. And they had everybody get on the same page, friends, but they never expected Sergeant Gristlegrits to be there. Friends, the man called me a liar. He says, oh, well, your account's different. Well, sir, you were on a stage about 50 to 60, you're about 50 meters away from this incident. And friend, I was about 10 meters away. Okay, friends. Friends, get your protest and get your uniforms together, friends. I know, friends. I know some of the uniforms don't fit you like they used to. That's why you must have been, you should have been training like me. You should have asked Jesus to get that alcohol and all the other manner of perversions out of you, friends. I told you, this ain't no time for the weak. You're gonna fall to the wayside. And I ain't got no use for folks like that, friends. I just don't. But I'll have some mercy on you. I'll let you stir the poop pot in the back. Put a little diesel in there, and I'll get you a stick. And that's gonna be your job all day and all night, Mr. Strom. That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go out there and you're just gonna do you're gonna burn all the waste, all the excrement. Friends, I get no pleasure in this stuff. I don't do this for the views or the likes, friends, because I don't get none of those. Because when you're in this type of work, friends, when you're doing selfless service, real selfless service on behalf of Jesus in the ministry, friends. Well, friends, you get to have little conversations like the one we just did on the live, friends, where they laugh at you and they mock you. Friends, didn't we just read? Hold on, friends. Hold on. I told you the Lord's mysterious. Friends, let me just read what we just went over in the Bible study, friends, about this type of stuff. Here we go, friends. I didn't want to do this earlier, but now I've been forced to. Friends, let me explain something to you. I did work in a congressional office, and I worked in District 19 under Francis Rooney. He was only there for 4 years, friends. It was a check the box for the man. I'm not knocking the guy. He was a billionaire, so of course, he didn't really care. It was just so cool. Look at me. I'm a billionaire. I did this. Oh yeah, I was a congressman for a couple years. I did that. That's what it was, friends. But friends, I worked in that office as the constituent guy. I wasn't the manager like Mr. Patrick. How dare you, sir? How dare you? I found out who you are and your role is. Now you're in a lot of hot water, sir. You're in a lot of hot water. How dare you? Where were we, friends? It says right here. Romans 15, friends. We just read this earlier. In verse 2, it says, we should help others do what is right and build them up in the Lord. For even Christ didn't live to please himself, as the scripture says. And I quote, "The insults of those who insult you, O God, have fallen on me." Friends, I'm going to read just a thing about tolerance and its limits, friends. I didn't want to do this, but now we must, friends, we must. Friends, it says here that when Paul was doing his ministry, he was pleading for tolerance between those that are weak in the faith, like these individuals that we're having to deal with now, and those like me and Mr. Edgerton that are doing our damnedest to try to get strong in the faith, friends. Friends, I'm not trying to be judgy on these people, but that's unacceptable. The man already knew who I was. I was in there yesterday, and he laughed at me. He's like, "Oh, you didn't wait around for me to come out." Well, friends, I asked for you. And your bully came out there and threatened that I need to leave. And then you had a guy with a gun stand up and stand right next to me. All he had to do was this. Oh, I don't know. The man threatened. He had a bomb on him. They should stop condemning and belittling each other. Rather, they should learn to worship God with a unified voice and spirit. Friends, what the hell happened to the veterans' experience? I'm a veteran. Mr. Edgerton's a veteran. I'm certain they got a couple other calls from some veterans that didn't like what went on there, but they're just going to say, "Oh, no. We asked the man very, very politely, and he refused. And so we just had to remove him." No, Mr. Messer, I'm sorry, sir. What you witnessed, and your family witnessed, and your wife and your children were talking about people at school, no, that didn't happen the way that you observed it in your own reality. No, Mr. Dunning and the General, we were all on the stage, and we're going to tell you what you saw. Friends, that stuff don't work on me. Mr. Dunning, you know who I am. I got two of your counterparts removed. Friends, I did have a stern talking with Mr. Dunning when I left the Tampa VA. Friends, I got to shake his hand at the groundbreaking ceremony at the new mental health building, Mr. Strom. Friends, Mr. Strom, I'm sorry, sir. I'm going to have a little mercy for you, too. Because you didn't understand. You didn't have the understanding of who you were on the phone with. I'm not just some veteran you're going to hang up and never hear from me again. I'm going to come back down there today, and I'm going to have a meeting with you, sir. And I'm going to sit in your office. And I'm going to ask you very politely if I can record it. And if you refuse, then I'm just going to put it in there anyways. What is it, a breach of my privacy? I'm not supposed to record my encounter with you? I don't trust y'all, because you just proved you're a liar on the phone. You told me I was a liar, and your manager down there called me a liar. I got it on the video. What happened to the unity that the veterans are supposed to share? Friends, we're supposed to take care of each other. Friends, back in the day, a Marine could rag on an Army guy, and then we could both rag on the Air Force, and then we could all make fun of the Coast Guard, but at the end of the day, we all loved each other, friends. It's called being the brotherhood. My friends, that brotherhood's been watered down by DEI. If people like this have gotten away with it for far too damn long, friends, I won't stand for it, Mr. Strom. I'm sorry, sir. Mr. Strom, a good friend of mine's a lieutenant colonel in the Marines, and I already had a talk with him. And sir, we've already pleaded our case to the commandant. And he's gonna have his answer sometime this afternoon about your little actions. But I gotta send him an update, friends. We're gonna send a memorandum for record, an update, an addition to the case that we sent off to the commandant of the Marine Corps, friends. Mr. Strom's no longer gonna be a Marine once we're done with him. What did they say in the movie Top Gun? You're not a pilot, but if you were, you're going to be flying rubber dog poo-poo from Hong Kong on a cargo plane. You're not going to be in the Top Gun no more, sir, and you never were. I told you, friends, they just don't hire the brightest. But the man says he's been there 10 years or 20 years. I mean, what's going on, sir? What happened with that place? You're the leader. You just went along with the flow like Chris Brown, right? Friends, I'm certain these people weren't always this bad. But when you're dismissing a veteran's concern, that's wrong, friends. That's wrong. That waters down the brotherhood. And it makes me not feel like I'm welcome there, sir. And, sir, my brother-in-law has a brick down there. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Mr. Strom. I'm going to come down there today, and I'm going to invite you and Mr. Patrick. We won't have no cameras. But I want you and your manager, I'm going to request a tour of the park, because I've never had that, sir. And Mr. Strom, for the last time, I came down there on Tuesday because I wanted to have a partnership with you, sir. I'm a new ministry. I'm a brand new 501c3, and I do have a lot of money. I have a lot of money heading my way with my lawsuit. And I'm going to have an equal amount of lot of money when I'm done suing y'all. Because, friends, I know this is going to escalate. I know at some point they're going to trespass me from a park that my brother-in-law is there, and they're gonna lie and say that I'm harassing, or I got a flag and I'm not supposed to have it. Well, Mr. Strom, you're going to have hundreds and thousands of those flags out there when I'm done with you, sir. So every day you go to work, you're going to have to drive past that. And I know that's only one way in and one way out. Maybe you and Mr. Patrick maybe y'all can go buy a canoe and y'all can just take the reservoir, the little reservoir. Y'all can just paddle your way home. Let's continue, friends. It says here, the tolerance and its limits. It says, in our day, we need to be careful about what we tolerate and accommodate. And we need to be equally careful about what we decide is worthy of confrontation. Believers need to consider carefully the different issues they confront in their associations with other believers. Now, friends, this is talking about... Let's just read, friends. You can interpret it any way you want. I know what it means to me. That's what the Lord's telling me. And the basic truth of the good news, friends, is basically saying, if the basic truth... Hold on, friends. Hold on. Here it is. It says, if the basic truth of the good news is not violated, then we should not quarrel or be divided over such issues. Other issues, however, strike at the heart of the message of the good news. In these cases, Christians need to take a stand. Hold on, everybody. I'll be right back. It says it in the Bible, friends. Hold on. Mr. Strom, that's my VA. That's my Department of Veteran Affairs lawsuit right there, sir. There's a lot there, sir. I told you, when the Lord puts me on an OP, I don't dare leave that OP until I get the index. And I just got the orders for you, sir. Friends, it says here, we should not quarrel or be divided over minor issues, friends. Kind of like if the Catholics worship Jesus or they choose to worship God and maybe Jesus has a little minor role. Because, friends, I had that talk yesterday at lunch. Well, I didn't. I was listening. I was observing. It was my two veterans. They were asking questions, and I loved it, friends. I loved it. But, friends, what happened the other day and what was continuing to happen, friends, is exactly what this verse is talking about. We should not quarrel or be divided over such issues. Other issues, however, strike at the very heart of the message of the good news. In these cases, Christians need to take a stand and be faithful to the good news and to Christ. The way Paul dealt with the variety of issues in his own time can serve as a guide for dealing with conflicts and controversies in our time. Friends, let me ask you a serious question and then we're going to wrap it up. Because this is going to determine what our course of action is next. Friends, whatever we do is peaceful. Mr. Strom, I'm not gonna dox you. I'm not gonna look up your address because that's not what I'm about. Because it clearly says we're not supposed to do those things in the Bible. And sir, I don't do those things because it was done to me last year and I didn't like it too much. I didn't like it. I need to get a little bit of sleep, friends. And when I'm out doing presence patrols around the neighborhood, because some lady that worships Satan, that I was at her wedding, don't like me because I'm talking some sense into her ex-husband on leaving her butt because she's perverted. Well, when she doxes you on the Rumble, friends, it tells everyone, oh, the man got all his guns taken away. Y'all go cause him some harm. And she did, friends. Well, friends, I don't get a lot of sleep because I'm out doing patrols, making sure none of y'all knuckleheads come lingering around looking for some trouble. I told you, friends, I just dug a few more holes. I dug a few more holes, friends. I know some of y'all don't have that discipline. I'm not talking about you, Mr. Strom, or your unqualified manager down there. Goodness gracious. Friends, that passage that we just read, or it was more like the student portion, it basically said for minor things when it comes to like eating pork, or if you're going to go to church on Wednesday but you got to work on Sunday, friends, we're not supposed to worry about those things. But friends, when it comes down to fundamental rights, civil liberties, treat people like you want to be treated. Well, friends, these people are the worst violators, in my opinion. As of Tuesday, because that's when I had to interact with them. And friends, that's 3. That is strike 3, Mr. Strom, in your Veterans Park. I gave you 2. I wanted to know why that happened, because I was there, and I witnessed the whole thing. Friends, I didn't just walk up when he was getting escorted. I was there before they were interacting the man. He was. Before the event started, the man was walking around like everybody else. But friends, when that event started, Mr. Edgerton posted himself in the back with me, friends, because I'm not going to be in the front. I'm going to watch all y'all, because I know these cops aren't there to protect me. They're there to watch me, to make sure I don't go kooky PTSD. And friends, they were looking at me, and they were dressing me down, friends, and I didn't like it. It made me feel very uncomfortable at a Veterans Day event in the county that I live in, where my brother-in-law has a brick out there. How dare you, Mr. Strom? Friends, I told you leadership comes from the top, and Mr. Strom was never a good first sergeant. He just wasn't, friends. Because he's allowing his manager, he's allowing his platoon sergeant to behave in that manner. A bully! So, friends, I read the Bible and I pray, and the Lord, we're gonna get the guidance out there, friends. But I'm feeling, friends, we're gonna go out there and do some peaceful protest right in front of that place. Because y'all need to have the fear of God put in you. Because I don't think anyone's had that fear. You haven't been around that fear of the Lord in a long time. And we're not gonna bicker and quarrel over flags. That's kind of irrelevant. It's the way you treated the man, and the way you dismissed my concerns, not once but 2 times. 2 times. You don't get a third, sir. You're not gonna get a third. Friends, these people are out of control, is what I'm trying to explain to you. Are y'all starting to understand these things now? Friends, I'm not lying. I don't lie. I don't make these things up. And when the manager called me a liar yesterday, friends, I almost took a step towards the guy. Because, friends, that's an accusation. So anyways, friends, I don't know. I'm going to have to do some praying. Friends, what would you do? Would you just let these people continue doing what they're doing and just say, well, it's not my problem, not now? But what if you're there? What if you're there next year, friends? What if you're there at their next event and you got a MAGA hat on, friends? And what if one of these people come up to you and they say, look, we're going to have to ask you to take that hat off, or we're going to have to ask you to leave. Friends, what are you going to do? What are you going to do, friends? And you're just like, oh, I'm not going to leave. It's my hat. It's America. And then, friends, next thing you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you got 8 guys with guns coming up on you. And then you got a golf cart pulling up, and they're saying, okay, you're gonna take that hat off, or you're going to get in that golf cart and get out of here. We're going to trespass you. Friends, what would you do? It's called taking a peaceful, non-perverted stand, friends, and it's grounded in the words. I think we're going to be okay, everybody. Friends, we're going to say a prayer, and then we're going to go, friends. I got to go have some quiet time, friends. I got to decompress. Friends, how I just felt. Friends, I know I'm an actor, and I know this is a stunt, but it's not, friends. Friends, when I was talking to that guy, and the dismissive tone was how Chris Brown talked to me. That's how the union talked to me. It's how my employee talked to me. It's how all these people laughed at me when I was out there protesting, and they did, friends. And it didn't feel good. If I want to be real honest with you, friends. Friends, I'm a very, very, very sensitive man. I just hide behind this facade, friends. It's my alter ego. But deep down, I'm a little flower, friends. I'm very sensitive. Friends, you don't believe me? I'll read you some of my sweet love poetry from high school. Hold on a second. Hey, Mr. Strom, you got one of these, sir? You got a nice book of sweet love poetry? Are you an artsy guy? Did they allow you to do that in the Marines? I don't know, friends. I told you, these Marines. Oh, wait a second. This guy ain't no Marine. I demand to see your DD-214, sir. And I'm going to ask for it, because I know how to do a FOIA request, Mr. Strom. Because I told you, I used to work for Congress, and I still got some friends down there. You ever heard of Byron Donalds? You ever heard of Anna Plina Luna? I know. You live in a liberal. We got a liberal down here, a perverted liberal Congress lady. Oh yeah, she was out there, friends. Sweet love poetry. Oh, friends, that's my tour. I was in a band, Mr. Strom. This is my band days when I was touring around. Oh yeah, hey, look, there's the drummer in my band. He was a cool guy. I don't know, friends. He gave me his graduation photos. I said, oh, I don't know why he gave it to me. I'll just put it in my book. Okay, friends, here's a good one. Mr. Strom, here's some of my sweet love poetry. And then we gotta go, friends. I told you, I gotta do some praying. Now, friends, I gotta go by the cemetery. I gotta pick up the garbage. But friends, I might go down there and try to have another meeting with this guy. How dare you, sir? You were there yesterday, Mr. Grizzlegrits, and you didn't want to meet with me. Well, that's a lie, sir, and you know it, because I got it on the camera. I asked for you, and they told me you weren't there. And then your bully came out, your manager, and he tried to do it. He tried to do the same thing that y'all did to Mr. HK, but it didn't work. It didn't work. All right, Mr. Strom, this love poetry. I'm gonna read it in honor of our. Well, friends, this was the beginning of our relationship. This was the coronation of the relationship between Sergeant Grizzlegrits and the Grizzly Army Ministries and this fake, phony first sergeant. I told you, Mr. Strom, you could have had it, friend. Friend, you could have had a real. I'm not talking a fake veterans organization that want to go up there and plug their lawn service. I'm not doing this to plug my business, because this is my business. And this business don't pay one damn cent, sir, because I don't need it, because the Lord provides everything I stinking need. And he allows me to have as much fun and pleasure as long as I'm doing righteous, friends. If I go on a tangent and I'm out of bounds, I'll get in trouble. But Mr. Strom, this could have been yours. We could have been partners, and I would have loved that. But I'm so glad you showed me who you really are. That way I don't waste any energy down there with you. I'll go feed some homeless folks on my own. I don't need your stinking help, because there ain't no damn help. All right, friends, here we go. This is for all the fake, phony people down there in leadership roles at the Hillsborough County Veterans Park. This is some sweet love poetry from the year 1999 when I just got out of basic training, sir. So here we go. I once knew you. Maybe I thought I knew you. You were so real to me. I made you into what I wanted. In my mind. You were sincere. You were honest. You were innocent. Never for a moment did I think you would do me in like a greedy street hustler in a back alley. Friends, I wrote that almost 30 years ago, friends, just for today, for that conversation that we just had with this fake, phony first sergeant. Friends, I told you this is all improv. And the Holy Spirit's in charge, friends. I picked a random one, and it's literally, I wrote this for you, Mr. Strom. Friends, I want to show you this photo, but I'm afraid if I do, I'll get a community strike for real, friends. I can't do these things, friends. I told you, I hung around a lot of wicked people, friends. I can't believe that guy did that. In my mother's driveway, too, friends. Mr. Strom, I told you. We're going to get to know each other very, 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 very intimately in a non-homosexual way, sir. When we're done with you... When we're done with our OpCon on you, sir. To the end of your days, let there be a hot coal of shame on your head, sir, and let the Grizzly Army never vacate your thoughts. Oh, friends, I told you. Friends, I really thought when I was done with the Bay Pines VA, when I was done doing what I was doing out there and suing their butts, Mr. Strom, I really thought in my heart, I thought that was it. I thought my mission was done. I didn't think I'd have to go back out there and do some more protesting. But friends, I told you, it's so much worse than we could ever imagine. And that's why the Lord had me go out there, friends. So look, Mr. Strom, Mr. Frank Strom, the director of, I don't even know what the hell, your office is down there, and your staff lied to me yesterday. And then your staff did what we call in the mental health field, it's called projection. They projected all their lies onto me and called me a liar. I told you, Mr. Strom, I don't like to be accused of things that I'm not. Friends, if I lied to the man, I would have admitted it, and I would have begged Jesus to forgive me. Because, friends, one of the 10 Commandments, Mr. Patrick and Mr. Strom, is thou shalt not lie. So, sir, I'm going to go on the Facebook. I'm going to record it, and we're gonna find out if Mr. HK Edgerton was doing what you told me he was doing. Because you told me I was a liar, and I didn't see with my own eyes and experience with my own Friends, when you're around that commotion, you could feel it, friends. You could feel the tension, and I did, and I didn't like it, friends. I felt like I was back in the war. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is bad. Whatever this is bad. What are they doing to that poor guy? Friends, I told you, they had a lot of pleasure, and they never thought in a million years that anybody was going to pay attention and ask the questions. They thought they were just going to write a report and say they asked the man to lower his flag, and he didn't do that. That's why they got rid of him. Again, friends, the Holy Spirit's mysterious. And that's why the Lord had me out there, friends. And look, Mr. Dunning, sir, I demand that you get some of your employees out there. They're going to go collect up all these brochures, all of them. I don't care how many were handed out. You're going to track them all down, sir. And you're going to retrieve from every veteran that was handed one of these. You're going to go retrieve them all, and y'all are going to put them in a fire. You're going to burn them. And then y'all are going to reprint them all and issue them out, but it's not going to have the Tampa VA on here. That is going to be removed. How can I thank y'all for something that y'all didn't do? Special thanks for not even showing up. Thank you so much. All right, friends, I'm just so disgusted right now. Friends, I'm so disgusted, I might go take a jog around the block, friends, and I haven't done PT literally since I retired like 5 years ago. My friends, look at me. I'm back down to my fighting weight. Oh my goodness, friends, I tell you, this journey. Friends, I don't know what else to say. You know, we're gonna do the Bible study a little more later on.